The Galactic Council was made of the oldest, richest, and most powerful species in the known universe. They sat in a golden chamber, orbiting a blue-white star, deciding the future of galaxies like kings on thrones. And on this day, they had one topic only: Earth. A tall creature with silver skin stood up. His voice echoed, "Humans have grown too fast. They build weapons, expand territory, and ignore council orders." Another alien with 4 eyes and green plates hissed, "They don't respect our rules. They think they are equal to us. That must stop." One by one, every voice joined the call. Humanity must be controlled. So, the Council sent a final message to Earth. Not a warning and order. You will submit. You will share all military tech. You will follow Council rule. If not, punishment will follow. The message was sent on a secure galactic channel. Everyone expected a fast reply. Some thought humans would argue. Others thought Earth would beg. But no one expected. Silence. Days passed. Then a week. Earth didn't answer. On Earth, inside a hidden command center deep under a snowy mountain, a group of leaders sat quietly. Men and women, young and old, some in uniforms, some in suits. They had all read the message. "Do they really think we'll kneel?" One of them asked. "No," said another. "They think we'll fight back. That's why they want us to react. They want a war they can control." But Earth had already made a plan, not for war, not for surrender, but for departure. Years ago, Earth had guessed this day might come. When humans first joined the galactic community, they were weak and small. But they watched, they learned. They saw how the Council ruled with fear and force. And Earth had quietly built something the Council never saw coming: a system, a way out, a door to somewhere else. And now they would use it. Back in Council space, a scout ship was sent toward Earth. It reached Mars first. Nothing but dust and cold satellites. Next, Luna, the moon. Abandoned bases. No signs of life. Finally, Earth itself. The scout ship hovered over the blue planet. Cities were there. Lights were on. But no signals came out. Not a single transmission. Not a single response. The ship tried to scan for military networks. Blocked. Tried to scan for life. Signs. Hidden. It returned to Council space and reported only one thing: Earth is silent, intentionally. In every part of the galaxy where humans once had a presence, they were gone. Stations were empty. Ships had vanished. Even embassies on alien worlds were locked and sealed. Humans had left behind food, water, even clothes, but not themselves. It felt like they had vanished. On purpose, the Council held an emergency meeting. One voice cried out, "They're preparing for war." But another, deeper voice whispered, "No, this feels different." In a dark corner of the galaxy, far beyond the last mapped star, a massive gate floated in silence. Black metal, human design, powered by energy unknown to any alien species. A symbol of something the galaxy had never imagined: escape. Inside the gate's core, a countdown started. 10 days, 9, 8. And all across Earth, humans prepared. No alarms. No panic. Just quiet movements. Supplies loaded. Families gathered. Ships powered up. They would not fight. They would not bow. They would leave. In one of the final meetings on Earth, a woman in a white coat stood before the Global Council. "We were never meant to stay in their cage," she said. "We do not belong under the rule of ancient empires." Someone asked, "And if they try to stop us?" The woman smiled gently. "Then they will learn what it means when humanity chooses to walk away." The stars did not know it yet, but a storm was coming. Not of war, not of fire, but of absence. And that would be worse. At first, the galaxy thought it was a glitch. A broken signal. A mistake in communication. But soon, every species realized the truth. Earth had gone quiet. Human colonies on distant planets stopped all contact. Mining stations, research outposts, even trade hubs, all shut down without warning. Screens went black, beacons went dark. Ships vanished from their docks. Not destroyed, gone. The silence spread like a virus. From the edge of council space to the core trade systems. There were whispers. Where are the humans? Why aren't they speaking? What are they planning? And worst of all, did they just leave? In the council's main chamber, leaders argued day and night. Some believed Earth had been scared. Others said they were preparing a weapon. One older voice said slowly, "I think they made their choice. I think they're done with us." A tall, insect-like alien slammed its claw on the table. "They can't just leave. They owe us answers." But the answers never came. Instead, strange data appeared across the galaxy. A trading vessel in the Huron Expanse reported seeing human ships, huge ones, traveling in complete silence, heading toward dead space. A science probe near the Nibari. Rift picked up strange readings. Energy fields spinning around a massive ring structure in the void. An explorer claimed he saw dozens of Earth ships disappearing into a glowing crack in space. Then, nothing. No one could confirm it, because no one dared follow. Inside the Council's intelligence hub, a quiet discovery was made. A human signal, hidden deep in subspace, encrypted, ancient, buried behind layers of FI or EWA-LLs. After hours of decryption, it revealed just one sentence: "We are not yours to command." The message repeated once, then deleted itself. No trace left behind. One council advisor stared at the blank screen and whispered, "They're not just leaving us. They're leaving everything." Meanwhile, inside Earth's hidden networks, the real work was happening. Human AI systems were disabling stations, erasing logs, and closing gates behind them. Every path that connected Earth to the rest of the galaxy was collapsing on purpose. Quiet digital sweep cleaned humanity's presence like dust from an old room. Even friendly species who had alliances with Earth couldn't contact them anymore. One peaceful species tried to send a shuttle filled with gifts and peace messages. But as they approached Earth orbit, their ship was gently pushed back by invisible fields. Not attacked, redirected. A polite rejection. The message was clear. Stay away. In a distant council-controlled star system, an angry young commander demanded answers. He sent a full fleet toward Earth. 20 ships. Heavy weapons. Advanced tracking systems they never made. 3 days into their journey, every ship returned automatically. The crews were sleeping. Every system was wiped. Strange message had been burned into the main bridge walls. There will be no war. There will be no reply. There will only be distance. Panic followed, not because Earth had fought back, but because Earth hadn't needed to. Back on Earth, people weren't scared. They were hopeful. Families packed, students gathered, scientists celebrated. This wasn't an escape. It was a beginning. Children asked, "Where are we going?" Parents smiled. "Somewhere new. Somewhere we choose." In every launch bay, massive ships stood ready, tall as cities, glowing with energy not yet known to the Galaxy. One commander, a quiet man with gray eyes, looked up at the stars. "Built a cage," he said softly. "And now, we're walking out of it, far beyond the eyes of the Council, on the edge of the known galaxy." The first human ship entered the gate. It shimmered. It pulsed. It opened wide, welcoming, endless, unknown. And with no words, no sound, no anger, humanity stepped forward and left. Asterisk. The chamber of the Galactic Council was not quiet anymore. It was filled with shouting, flashing lights, and fear. Screens showed star maps, blinking red where human stations had gone dark. Dozens of voices argued, each speaking a different language, but all meant the same thing. What is happening? Where are the humans? How could they do this without us knowing? For the first time in 1,000 years, the council didn't feel like rulers. They felt ignored. The old leader of the council, a creature with long white limbs and glowing eyes, spoke slowly. We gave them a chance. We offered control, order, peace. A deep-voiced alien replied, "No, we gave them commands. We wanted their strength under our flag, but now their silence scares even the stars." Another voice, sharper and colder, said, "They are planning war. No species simply disappears. Not this fast. Not this clean." The council voted to send more scouts. Only 2 ships returned. One had its memory wiped. The other floated dead in space, systems intact, but the crew inside were all asleep, dreaming. They never woke up. No damage. No poison. Just sleep. Back. In the council chambers, the fear was growing. A trusted advisor brought up old human files classified, locked but never deleted. He placed them on a large screen. The images shocked everyone. Blueprints for enormous machines, star killers, void drives, structures meant to bend reality and time. The council had thought these were human dreams. They were not. They were plans. Quiet ones. Built while the galaxy was watching something else. One image stood out labeled only as the Arc Gate. A quiet species in the council, once friendly with humans, finally spoke. They had lived beside humans for years, shared food, songs, and even raised families together. The elder of their kind spoke in a trembling voice. They never wanted war, but they never trusted you. While you tried to pull them in, they were building a door out, not for retreat, not for attack, but for choice. The council laughed, but it wasn't real laughter. It was nervous, cracked, forced. Because deep down, they understood the terrible truth. Humans didn't need the galaxy. Across the stars, strange signs began to appear. On a moon orbiting a red giant, alien miners found human symbols carved into the rock symbols that hadn't been there the day before. In a cold nebula cloud, a glowing path opened for 2 minutes, just long enough for a witness to describe hundreds of ships traveling through without a word, without a name. A listening post in deep space caught a faint human voice whispering through static, "This is not our home anymore." Then, silence. The council tried to stop panic. They pushed news networks to hide the truth. But it was too late. Citizens across the galaxy had started asking, if Earth left, where did they go? Can we go too? What did they see that we didn't? The council's power was cracking, because fear of Earth was being replaced by curiosity about their path. And curiosity is more dangerous than war. In a secret corner of the galaxy, one last human message was found burned into the remains of an old communication station in large glowing letters. "You taught us how to speak. You showed us how to build. But you never asked what we dreamed of. So we dreamed elsewhere." The message ended with a symbol, a circle split in half. One side dark, one side light. Inside the center, a single human eye. Watching, always. The council was now split. One half demanded action, build fleets, search the void, force Earth to return. The other half said, no, leave them. Do not chase what has already moved beyond reach. And somewhere, beyond the edge of the stars, Earth watched them argue, watched them tremble, and move further into the unknown. Asterisk beyond the edge of the mapped galaxy, past dead stars and ancient ruins, something massive began to move. It was not a planet, not a ship, not even a station. It was a structure, black as space itself, hidden within a cloud of cosmic dust. It had no name, no lights, and no signal. It had rested in silence for decades, maybe longer, until now, with a quiet hum. It opened. The arc gate came alive. Thin lines of light formed across its surface, spreading like veins, pulsing with soft, blue energy. Its shape, an enormous ring, wide enough to swallow a moon, began to rotate. Each spin opened reality a little more. Inside, space itself started to bend. A rift shimmered at its center, swirling like a whirlpool of stars. It was not just a portal, it was a path to somewhere else, a place no alien map had ever reached. Gate had waited. Now it had been activated by humans far away. On Council worlds, sensors detected the energy pulse. At first, they thought it was a supernova forming, but the data didn't match. It wasn't destruction, it was creation. The Council's top scientists tried to explain the readings, but nothing made sense. One terrified voice whispered, "They built a way out." And we never saw it. Back at the Arc Gate, the First Fleet arrived. Dozens of human ships. Sleek, black, silent. They didn't come in war formation. They came like travelers heading home. No weapons raised. No signals sent. Just movement steady and calm. Inside each ship were people. Families, workers, scientists, elders, children. They wore no armor. They sang no songs of battle. They were leaving, not running. And that made it even more terrifying to those watching. A small alien scout ship, brave or foolish, approached the edge of the gate. It sent out a signal. "Why are you leaving?" For a moment, nothing happened. Then a human voice answered. Kind, clear. "Because the galaxy is too small for our dreams." And the signal cut. The alien ship backed away in silence. In the council chamber, fear turned into something worse. Confusion. One leader shouted, "We must stop them." Another asked, "Why?" "They haven't attacked. They haven't threatened. They're just leaving." But someone else stood slowly and said what no one wanted to hear. If they truly leave, they take their ideas, their energy, their future. Without Earth, the Council will crumble, not from war, but from emptiness. Across thousands of systems, rumors began to spread like fire. Aliens who once feared humans now wondered what lay beyond the gate. Small groups started disappearing: scientists, explorers, thinkers. They weren't defecting. They were following. The gate wasn't just a human invention. It had become a symbol of freedom, of possibility, of everything the Council never allowed. Inside the human command ship at the gate, a woman with short hair stood at the observation deck. She looked at the stars behind them, then at the swirling light ahead. She didn't speak much, but then she said, quietly, "They taught us the stars, and expected us to stay in a box. Now we fly toward what they were afraid to see." A soft voice behind her asked, "Will we ever come back?" She smiled. "Not as visitors." Then she turned and gave the order, "Begin transit." One by one, the human ships moved through the gate. No sound, no violence, just a slow, beautiful stream of light disappearing into the unknown. And with every ship that entered, the gate grew brighter until the stars around it dimmed in comparison. They, Council, watched, powerless, wordless. And Earth didn't care, because Earth had already moved on. Asterisk. The Galactic Council had sent over 50 messages. Some were angry, some were polite, some begged, "Return to the Council. Let's negotiate. Please don't go." But no message got a reply. The humans had heard them all. They had read every word. And they had chosen silence. In Council-controlled space. The silence felt louder than any war. The great species who once called themselves rulers now waited like children outside a locked door. Behind that door, Earth was doing something none of them understood. leading without permission. One desperate race tried a different trick. They sent a message disguised as a distress signal. A fake cry for help, the message said. "We are under attack. Please, humans, we need you." But no ships came. No voice responded. Instead, their station received a short reply. Just 5 words. "We are not your soldiers." Then the channel went dead forever. Across alien news networks, panic spread. Broadcasters asked, why did Earth choose exile? What did the humans find on the edge of space? Did we push them away, or were they never ours to keep? One channel tried to spin it. They were too dangerous. Their departure is safer for all. But the public wasn't convinced, because deep down, many species knew the truth. Humans weren't running away. They were simply done waiting for permission. On Earth's moon, the last outpost remained powered on. A quiet defense satellite, floating. Silently above the gray surface dot, it didn't shoot. It didn't scan. It simply watched. When a council drone tried to get close, it was intercepted not with weapons, but with a strange signal. This place is no longer a border. It is a memory. And memories are not to be disturbed. The drone turned back. Without force. Without command. Almost like it understood. Inside the council's meeting chamber, the atmosphere had changed. The room once echoed with pride. Now it echoed with regret. One leader spoke, shaking. They offered us ideas, and we gave them chains. Another added, we called them threat, because they wouldn't bow. A third leaned forward and whispered what they all feared. What if they return not as friends, not as enemies, but as something beyond us? In the final hours of the Ark Gate's activity, the last human ship approached. It was different from the rest. Larger. Older. Its hull bore a symbol. Blue planet surrounded by stars. Inside was a small crew. Veterans, thinkers, dreamers, not soldiers. The captain, a quiet man with silver hair, looked at the swirling gate one last time. Someone asked, should we say goodbye? He shook his head slowly. No. Goodbyes are for those who plan to return. Then he tapped a screen, and the final ship disappeared. Into the light. On the outer rim of the galaxy, a lone council science vessel watched the gate from afar. They saw its rings slow, its energy fade, its light collapse inward. And then, the Ark Gate vanished. No explosion, no sound, just one blink. And it was gone. Nothing remained but stars. The last message Earth ever sent was found 3 days later, buried deep in a hidden channel. It wasn't addressed to the Council. It wasn't a threat. It was a reminder. You ruled the galaxy. We reached for the universe. You wanted control. We wanted freedom. We still do. And at the bottom of the message, a simple human phrase. Good luck. The Council couldn't reply. Because by then, Earth was far beyond hearing. And even further beyond caring. The galaxy did not end when Earth left. Ships still flew. Trade still moved. Stars still burned. But something had changed, and everyone felt it. It was like walking into a room that used to be full of music, only to find silence. The Council remained in power. The laws were still enforced. But even the strongest empires now whispered behind closed doors. What if they were right? On the planet Zyrnine, a young alien student stared at an empty skyport once owned by humans. The buildings were still there, machines untouched, gardens blooming. But no footsteps, no laughter, no humans. Her teacher said, they abandoned us. But she didn't believe that. They just stopped needing us. She replied quietly. In deep council archives, old files were sealed away. Files on Earth, files on the Ark Gate, files labeled do not investigate. But hiding the truth didn't stop it, because across the stars, stories grew. Tales of where humans had gone, Some said they found another galaxy filled with life. Others said they'd created their own universe. A few believed they found peace and vanished into pure energy. The council called it all lies. But the people? They believed. Even the council's own soldiers changed. Once proud to serve their rulers, they now looked toward the stars and asked, if Earth could walk away, why can't we? That question was more dangerous than any human weapon. Planet, once ruled by council law, held a vote. They decided to leave. No war. No blood. They simply disconnected every council relay and said, we choose silence, just like the humans. The council sent warships to scare them, but the people didn't fight. They just stood still. The ships never fired, and quietly they turned around. Back on Earth's former moon, that last satellite blinked for the final time. Its systems powered down. Its memory wiped clean. Its orbit shifted slowly, drifting toward the sun. It had no orders, no target. Its final action was simple. A signal burst sent into the void one humans would never hear. It said, you were not forgotten. In the empty space where the Arc Gate once floated, nothing remained. No light, no metal, no trace of its creation. Yet some travelers who passed nearby swore they felt something. A hum, a pull, a presence. As if the stars themselves remembered Earth. And in the heart of the council's golden chamber, the leaders sat in silence. Not one voice rose, not one hand moved. They had ruled for thousands of years. They had crushed rebellions, rewritten laws, reshaped worlds, but they had never been ignored like this before, because Earth hadn't rebelled. Earth hadn't fought. Earth had simply outgrown them. And so the galaxy continued without Earth. Not the same. A seed had been planted. One of choice, one of freedom. And someday, maybe, soon others would follow. Because in every dark corner of space, someone new was now whispering, if humans could leave, why are we still here?